Postman, city, hood, click. Let's go.
About humanity, putting truth in these lines while they busy feeding lies. When you got that tunnel vision, gotta open up your eyes. Wake up and go to sleep. Man, I'm praying all times. And to my guys, ain't no other side. This for my brothers, I'ma pray we all shine. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Yeah, you already know.
Depending on the lessons, some people eat, some people learn. But the game is going to send you a bill. Lock the door.
Lock the door. The game is going to send you bills. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation and the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman. Be sure to click that notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below so when the dope content hit, it'll feel like the first and the 15th. Welcome to the Mailroom. When you come in and take a look at your mind, examine what's in your heart. You go anywhere in the world to get a couple of lies, but you come right here to get the truth. And the truth you shall receive. It's not a glorification nor the glamorization. It's always an education. Get on the bus and let me take you to school before they had handguns. Got the man up. You got the man up out there. Put it together, guys. Appreciate you. Welcome to the mailroom once again. We're coming a special day. Shout out to the mailroom, Marlena Williams, Postmaster General. We got Western Avenue King. We got RDL in the house. So what is that? You say you are? I can't get that, man. Sometimes these words be so tiny I can't even read them. Robert Richardson, what's going on? Antonio, what's going on, my guy? RDL, of course, on deck. Appreciate each and every last one of you guys. Welcome to the mailroom. Today, we're going to talk about the Book of Santana. The Book of Santana, Volume 1. There's so many volumes. And in order to explain it, you have to put it in volumes because we got to go to the origin, to the beginning of it. And how we get there, we start with Kim Bullet Tate, the original Mr. Santana himself, the creator and the navigator and the person that orchestrated Santana Block. Initially, right? We cannot take that from him. But today we come here, we're going to talk about him as well. But today is 722. And we're going to talk about how the 722 come about. And we're going to talk about special individuals that was in that circumference, in that circle of knowledge, of awareness. And it's important that we include them in this talk. No one is exempt. No one is small. No one is too big. No one is too little. We got to talk about them all, and we can't possibly fit them all in one volume. So there's going to be volume 2, 3, 4, so as we go and we talk about Santana Block, because Santana Block is just not just a showpiece. It was actually an exemplary and compliment to the individuals that participated. And we know that we can't allow this thing we call scripting and blood, because it's really, at the end of the day, it's Black Death. BK being Black Death, CK mean Color People Death, Color People Killer, and BK mean Black People Killer at the end of the day. But we can go back and narrate our stories, and we get to tell our own stories in our way, in our perspective, from our version, and versus letting other individuals try to tell our stories who had no idea what our story is. All they do is saw videos, or they read a couple of books, or they seen a couple of people, or they felt like they can do it. So we're gonna go back all the way. I first met Cam Bullet Chase. We were in elementary school. I think when I first aware of him, I was maybe in the 5th grade. He was in the 3rd, right? And then as I got to the 6th grade, he was in the 4th grade when I left. And this was Francis Willard Elementary. Francis Willard Elementary. And from there we went on to Whaley, and I think I might have spent a year. No, I spent all 3 years there. And I don't know if he actually made it, because they wound up moving off of Golden Street and moving to over there by what is known Little Roosevelt, off of Alondra. So him and his brothers and sisters, they went to that school. So I first met him at Francis Willard, of course, but one of his very first games that he created, a lot of people don't know, was the Cobras. And the initiation for the Cobras, they used to take, remember those little cone incense? You take the cone incense and put it in your arm, and they light it. And when it burned down, if you move, you couldn't be in the Cobras. So that was bullet initiation, and as we begin to grow and we begin to get fond of one another, and we start hanging out, and one of the first things we started doing was going back then. We used to have the house parties. I'm at this house party, right? As a matter of fact, it was Randall Guillory, stayed off of Bradfield. I think it was Bradfield and Elizabeth. And I'm telling a party going down. So me, Bullet, well, I come there, I ride my 10-speed over there. So Bullet and them already live on that side of town. Him and Roddy and a couple of other homies, they already live on that side of town. So I get there, I park my bike in the back. So I'm back there, just chilling. All of a sudden, one of the twins from Atlantic Drive, Ronnie and Donnie, it was Ronnie and Donnie. Ronnie decides that he wants to lift my bike. He don't know it's my bike, though. I guess he just needed a bike or whatever. At that time, people ripping off people's bikes, taking people's transportation, that just was the thing. That's what we was on back then. So he taking the Bullet, see him. So when he get over the fence, by that time, Bullet get me, and we jumped over the fence with him, right with him. And take the bike, oh man, I didn't know it was your bike, and anyway, we worked it out. Nothing happened. We didn't have to, go to fisticuffs or none of that. He gave up the bike and say, oh no, cuz that's yours, Okay. So as time went on, Bullet started gaining like this reputation because Bullet was very athletic. We played Little League Baseball at Oaks Park. And we played for Greater Compton. Him and his brothers, they all played for the Pee-wees at Greater Compton. I was on the midgets. I was on a bigger team than theirs because, when you older or you got more weight, you had to go up to the next level. So after we get through that, we start figuring out, different things about what we like about each other and how we like vibing and everything. And by this time, gang banging is slowly beginning to come around. It's beginning to come around. So I'm going to go back a little bit. Let me go back to explain what happened. So when gang banging came around, the Ludus Park Pyrus were the first ones on our side. It was 1972. They came on, and we came on a little shortly after. The Oaks Park Businessman came on, and then the Midtown Crips came a little shortly after that. So what happened, there was this guy, his name was Curtis Patrick. Curtis Patrick was real good friends with Ray Johnson at that time. And Curtis was actually a Piru before he was a Crip. And him and my homie Donald Prescott, they both had became Pirus. But Donald Norwood, which is Donald Duck Norwood, and Hercules, Chester Norwood, they was in fact the Brookings out in Banning with Tookie, Bogart, Warlock, and some of the others that was there at that time. And Buddha, of course. I said Buddha, okay. And they was all that Factor Brookings out there at Bob Simmons' home out in Banning, California. So Bob Simmons wound up getting a home on Pine. So when they wind up there, that was like a game changer because at that time, bartending New York, Lug and Jug lived on Willow. Barton in New York lived on Pearl. So they was all partying in that neighborhood, but at the same time, the neighborhood was like maybe not too decisive as what they were going to be and how they was going to choose up, right? So by this time, Ray and Curtis get into it over females, some female stuff, and I don't know the particulars of the female stuff, but it wasn't girlfriend stuff like that. It might even been sisters getting into it, and they both intervened, but on behalf of his sister. So anyway, when it wind up happening, Turtle, Ray gets stabbed by a bottle or something, some type of object, and I think that happened like February 10th, 1973. February 10th, 1973. He lost. He expired. He lost his life. Um, and that right there triggered everything else. From that point on, things begin to snowball. Things begin to take momentum, and things begin to everybody start, moving a little different, because now you got a loss of life. You can't bring that back. You can't change that dynamic once that happens. Shout out to Monique. Shout out to Aldris. What's happening, man? How you doing? You can't change the dynamics of that. What's up, Goldie Gold? Devon Cutmore. You can't change the dynamics of that. It's out there now. So it's more like people want to get their lick back, right? They want to get their lick back. So all that would, and I'm gonna come back to Bullet, right, to how all this ties in and how all this matters. Curtis Patrick, whose birthday is today, 722. Killa Raider, his birthday was yesterday, 721. Turtles is 723. Now the SBC doesn't have nothing to do necessarily, the Hood Day or whatever per se has nothing to do with one individual, because there's all kind of individuals born within that frame or that time frame. So, but a lot of people give a lot of credit to this individual, that individual. That's neither here or there. That's not my decision to make. That's based on the individuals that's, partying or giving their respect to each individual. A lot of people over there don't know Curtis. Matter of fact, probably 99.1% don't know Curtis. But I'm gonna give you. Let me show you who Curtis was. Let me show you. I want you to see a picture of Curtis, so you know exactly who it is. This is Curtis right here. That's Curtis Patrick. He was in after he caught that time for what happened on February 10th, 1973. This was him in I think one of them camps or whatever. I can't tell you which one it was, but that's Curtis Patrick, aka CP. And so going back to Curtis, right? So Curtis, ironically, years later, now 10 years later, 1983, Curtis commits suicide. I'm at the spot, me and my homie Raw Dog. I got scanners at the time. I could listen to see what police movements was all about. This 1983, right? And I'm listening. I hear somebody's like barricaded himself in the house. So what happened? They were over there smoking, Wet Daddy or whatever, and Curtis trips out and accidentally shoot his girl's sister in the head. Unknown to him, he thinks he murdered her, killed her. So he panics. Instead of just, seeing it through, he shoots himself. And I hear the whole thing play out on the scanner. And that's how he lost his life. And, sometimes there are many boomerangs in life. And what happens that sometimes your words, actions, and deeds will come back with extreme accuracy and land on you. Because I don't know whatever transpired between him and Ray. I wasn't there. All I could do is give you my version or the narration of it, and then try to put it in perspective to where you can kind of understand what happened. So coming back to Bullet, now we came up under all these guys. So during that time, there was Curtis, there was Donald Duck Norwood, there was Hercules, there was Frankie, there was Darnell Miles, there was JD, there was Pee Wee for Lantana. He used to be over there every day. June, Tommy, Thunderbird. There was Killer Mac, Robert Thomas was like one of my biggest homies, the Snake. And then on the other side, you had Killer Wayne, Killer Bray, um, Penwright, Flip Dog, Roddy, and Andre Butler. Roddy and Andre Butler, and then Turtle and Whiskey and Gangster and all those guys on that side, right? So when Bullet took the initiative to bring this Santana about, he some of his first people he brought with him was Alan D, Roddy, Boo Orr, Danny Orr, Pinky Orr, Teddy, Jeffrey Brown, Craig Brown, PJ, Pino, Strawberry, Uncle Al, and that's just to name a few. So when Bullet was putting all this together, we didn't know at the time what it would become and what it be. But one thing you got to know, when you're cooking a meal, there are ingredients that go into the meal. There's the onions, there's the bell peppers, there's the seasoning, and that makes the meal become very tasty and good. And that's what happened. That's when you get the gangsters, the turtles, the kizzies, and myself, and all it, because the willow, the springs, and the elms, and the road streets, and the sags, and SAG, and H&H, and Hub, and T-Wee, and all those cats, we put the fire in there. In other words, we put the fire in that. And I'm just, again, guys, I'm giving you volume one. There's multitudes of other people that play significant roles and parts in bringing about this Santana thing, and how it, and I know some people listen to these stories and think that we glamorizing, but sometimes we got to go back to understand history. History is medicine for a sick mind, because within history is a variety of human experience we can teach and learn from. It's important. So coming back to Bullet. So Bullet started growing up. You would see Bullet walking around with his pit bull Sheba. Here's a picture of him with the dog right there, and he got the apple cat on him. Matter of fact, he was laid to rest on my birthday, March 27th, 1978. That's Bullet. My birthday, March 27th, 1978. So Bullet used to get this guy named Timothy DeBlunt. Timothy DeBlunt was a U.S. boy, and Timothy DeBlunt had a Monte Carlo, and he loved Bullet. He used to give Bullet the Monte Carlo. Bullet used to pull up in front of the house and say, "Mel, let's hit the parties in Long Beach." And we would jump in Timothy LeBrunt's Monte Carlo, and we would go to the canteen, the hut, and some of the other house parties that was happening in Long Beach, and we would have just a really good time. And that was my journey and my experience with Bullet, and outside of the other little things that played a part in bringing us together. These were some of the most significant things, and but there was other people that played greater parts, in bringing it, and some of the people, I'm gonna give you their names: the Dollar Bills, the Little Daddies, the Little Roys, the Primo Pete, the Wheels, the Gertzie Montanas, Little Bruno, Magoo, Bebe, Big Bus. They also, because some of these guys have chapters, some of these guys have pages, some of these guys have paragraphs. So it's entirely too long or too much information just to compile it in one little video. This is probably had to take, it's gonna take volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes of video to for you guys to get the thing. So another guy I want to go into right here was Killa Raider. And Killa Raider played a big part also. His birthday was 7/21, which was yesterday. Killa Raider, matter of fact, Killa Raider saved my life one night. I get into it with this cat, and we up at Brownie's, and I fire on him, and he go down, and he got a nickel plate of Nina. And right at the last minute, I see it, and me and him start tussling over it. And when I start tussling on it, he start turning me. But Raider came in and cracked him twice, and he went out. He went out like a light. Wow, he was out. And I wind up with the Nina. It's in my hand now, in my possession. And me and Raider takes off. But that was it. Had I not reacted, or had Raider not reacted, I don't know what the outcome may be. I probably could have lost my life, But that was just good thinking and good reaction on Raiders' part. So I like to salute my homeboy Killa Raider for just being there for me. And he was always one of them, because when we was going to high school, Raider used to trick him, because we went to the high school. Raider used to have a briefcase, right? So he walks up to the briefcase. Soon as they see us with Raider walking with that briefcase, they hit him up. The security guy, hey, what you got in that briefcase? So they bust the briefcase open, nothing but books. So Raider did that a couple of times. So they got tired of looking in the briefcase. Finally, Raider put that thing on that briefcase, and we were good. They would never, because they had already checked it. They felt like Raider would just, can books and paperwork, schoolwork for school, but all the time we had that goddamn it up in that briefcase amongst with books and other, school paraphernalia. So I just wanted to give a good shout out to my homie Raider. And, and you can't never take from, when it comes to economics and creating an economy, Turtle and Baby Gangster were probably two of the best at it. And the reason why I say that, because early on, when a lot of neighborhoods didn't have the money, or didn't have the intelligence, or didn't have the system to move weight like we did, they relied on us to supply them. A lot of different neighborhoods, and they may not talk about it, but that's fine. We know the truth. And two of the best at it was Gangster and Turtle. And of course, I was there to be in a part of that, to make that thing go right, because there was other individuals, which I won't bring his name up, and you guys know who he is. So, but anyway, moving past that, that's how we operated. So as we operated like that, that means we had more resources, we had more bullets, we had more guns, we had more everything. See, because here's the thing, it costs the gangbang. You can't gangbang broke. You cannot compete or compare or get out there in them streets and be against anybody that's out there moving that type of way, and you broke. That ain't gonna work. It just ain't gonna work. And this guy.
What you just say, Uncle Bobby?
Yeah, homies, I can't gangbang broke. Keyway. Why? What? You need money for bullets, guns, dead homies. You need lawyers on the hood. Fuck you thought this shit ain't cheap?
That nigga crazy.
I said, guys, and again, don't mistake or mistake what I'm trying to do right here. I'm just educating you and just showing you the navigation of what was going on. And that was some years ago. The statute of limitations, there's no statute of limitations. The statute of limitations that definitely ran out on anything I talk about, and anything else I talk about has already been adjudicated, and it's already well settled law. So there's nothing I can say, or that I will say, that will put anybody into any type of jeopardy. If I feel it's going to be jeopardy, I won't say it. Just simple as that. I just won't say it. And so coming back to Turtle and Gangster, so they're two of the best that did that, and that's why you can see everybody give them a lot of credit for being who they are, the individuals that they are. You can't take that from them. You just can't. And like I said, again, the 722 is represented by the P, the Q, the RS. In other words, the S in the dial pad of your phone, it's S. It represents 7. The ABC, which is the C, represents the 2. That's how that come about. It has nothing to do with a certain individual. It just don't. It's for everybody to partake in, everybody that's a part of that, everybody that's connected to that is a part of that generation, or that symbolic symbol, that 722. So don't think that it is like, and some people call it Turtle Day, but Turtle Day is tomorrow. He was born on 7/23. We're talking about 7/22. Killa Raider was born on 7/21. We're talking about 7/2. Even though Curtis Patrick was born on 7/22, he was so far removed from that. He never saw Santana. He never was around. Well, he was around, but by that time, He was doing other things, and it was a lot of guys that grew up in that first generation that just removed themselves altogether from the crip aspect, and they became hustlers, pimps, and playboys, and and drug dealers and all kind of other stuff. That's just what had happened. Even if you look at Mac Thomas, when Mac Thomas lost his life, he wasn't cripping. He was out there hustling. He was out there knocking Mercedes Benzes and Porsches. He was out there hustling real hard. So what I'm just giving you, the facts on these situations. So yeah, Turtle and them created, but what's fascinating about all this is that some of the hand guys, I'm talking about the guys that would climb over each other to whoop some butt, to kick some tail, to knock somebody out, was Gangster, Dre Brown, Snoop, rest in peace, Willa Rated, Fat Daddy, rest in peace. They was always like ready to step out there, whether we was at the parades or wherever we were at the Pet Boys, the Day Omicron, football games, parties, all that stuff together, man. We was just you can always see them individuals like ready. They were like pit bulls. I think about it back then. That stuff was just hilarious. It was just too funny when you think about that. Here go another picture. That said we got Hub, PJ Padril, T Wee, and Sag right there. PJ was one of that first. When Bullet, one of his first people. Yeah. And I just want to show you that. And here's one of the first homegirls, Tanika Jenkins, lost her life, was the homie, Dwight Jenkins. He was an older homie. Him and Bitter Dog Wallace used to run together. She lost her life on Rose. Cute girl out there was getting her money, hustling, and somebody just came through and did their thing. But her and the homegirl, Laverne, I don't have Laverne's picture. They was like two of the first homegirls that lost their lives, unfortunately. And here go right here. That's the Baby Gangster. That's Gertrude and Big Bus. I think they was at the BFW on that one. Yeah, they was at the BFW on that one. So, yeah, I mean, it's just history, guys. It's just history. And the thing about history, right, is that we seen Machine Gun Kelly, we seen John Dillinger, we seen Malt Barker, we seen all these Al Capone, Frank Nitti. We see all these movies now that one time some America's most hated criminals now being glamorized and glorified within American film culture. You see, they don't look at these people the same. And that's why I hope that one day we get that opportunity to tell our stories and we don't be looking demonized and looked at, like these other guys, because what's good for the gander is good for the goose, right? If white people can do it, why can't we do it? We're black. We're narrating our own stories. We're telling our stories, and we won't get too vulgar with it or get too over the top with it. But we will explain to you guys, because there's a lot of people like in New York and Jersey and Texas and who really don't, they got bits and parts and pieces of it, but it's a rare that you find somebody that got all the parts. It's a rare to find somebody in another state that have all the parts. They either have this part or that part, or they have this part and that part, but they don't have all the parts. And they think they fully understand it. It's a lot deeper than what you really think and know. It's a lot deeper than that. And here again, here's a picture with myself, Scrunchy, Turtle, Gertch, and that was Rat in the back. He kind of blacking out. They all in the back there. But yeah, that was like in 1984 as well. I got the Playboy hat on. Turtle got the official Santana hat with the same writing off the album cover. The Carlos Santana. That's where Bullet came up with the name off of the Ultimate Santana. It's that colorful album by Carlos Santana. It says the Ultimate Santana, and that same letter in writing, that's the letter in writing that Turtle had on his hat. And I'm telling you guys, when you get down to it, this is really, really fascinating stuff because it gives you a inside look into something that people kind of just skim across or be telling their story, but they never was on the inside. See, I'm on the inside, gangsters on the inside, and any of my other homies that's on the inside, they can tell these stories. They don't have to rely on me or just gangster. They can tell them as well. But whether they would do that, that's that's different, And I get it. Everybody, that ain't what everybody forte is. That's not what they do. So I'm here for the challenge. I give, but still, I want to give, like again, my homie Dollar Bill. I miss Dollar Bill. That's the homie Greeny brother. Him and Little Daddy, man, we used to have so much fun. Him, E-Ho and Scotty, they came about through the Smurfs. They were Smurfs, and then they just man, we finna embrace this talent thing. It was so many people that was during that time. It was Oaks Park, Tucker Block, Midtown, and then you had over there with Saginaw, Rose Street Crips. Can you imagine all those elements and all those group of guys coming together and seeing, boom, after Bullet lose his life, Boo Boo lose his life, those were part of the glue. Those were part of the mechanisms that pulled everybody else together, that made us all vote Tron up. Because you can't have success if you got chaos in your own house. And how we did that, we eradicated the Oaks Park. We eradicated the Midtown. We eradicated the Rose Street. We eradicated the Tucker Block. Even though years later we come back to the gutter. We love the gutter. Don't get me wrong, the gutter has always been there. We just changed the name instead of Tucker, the gutter, right? So yeah, and I don't know, how you guys feel about any of this, but let me check out some of the comments. What was the situation that was going on, and could you be in a physical what? Oh, I couldn't even catch that question. Let me go back, bro, because could you be in a physical confrontation? What was the situation that was going on and could cause you to be in a physical? There was a lot of situations, bro. There was a lot of situations. Time flies, how many minutes? Oh, yeah, it does. It does. It really does. It really, man. I can't say, because now just think, when Turtle lost his life, he was 30 and I was 29. And right, I can still think about that today, and I'm still saddened by it. A lot of my homeboys that lost their lives. And I ain't even talking about the S Dogs and the Feats and then the Little Roy. I mentioned Little Roy was one of them people too. Little Roy had his thing, Big Bam. Just so many. Hub, rest in peace, man. And J Dog and Raider, they all gone now. And Boo Boo, Yogi, and not all because of gangbanging. Some of these people just died from not sleep. Hudson had a cold knockout. I remember sleeping. My brother, we was up at Compton High, man. We get down with these cats, and we went up there, me, Turtle, Sleep, Age, and Gangster, Twins, and some of the other homies. We all went up there. We went up there to whoop some butt. Simple as that. We didn't think the dude wasn't going. We thought they was going to handle it from him, man. Dude pulled out a knife, stabbed my brother, stabbed Twin, stabbed Sleep, man. But yeah, Sleep. I think Sleep died from natural causes. Nut died from natural causes. Separated died from natural causes. There's a lot of homies that just passed from just natural causes. Nothing to do with gang banging. Just that's just how the world works. We live when we die. We hope just that we live to see our kids get old or grow up, at least get to an age where they can take care of themselves. And then, if we check out, then we've done our part, But again, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to just, get away from that and not be emotional about it. 84, I wasn't born yet. Yeah, just think about it though. 84, I'm really coming from a perspective of 1972. Now, when I first saw Ray Johnson, Pyru, I call him Pyru number one because you know how you can see somebody and based on their movements and how they behaving and just their action, you can tell that they in charge, or you can tell that this dude's right here. This dude is like different from all these other. This dude is the real deal, Holyfield, and that he was, you know. And it's crazy because him and Curtis Patrick was friends. They was friends. Curtis was actually a Pyru before he came Oaks Park. It wasn't to Duck and Hercules and Robert Thomas and Snake and all those, Gary Miller and all that. They was called Gary the Governor. And Big Chocolate, Silas Cole, my homie Silas Cole, Chocolate lost his life up in San Jose doing robberies. You know, Big Chocolate used to dress, man. He was like, woo. And wear them big old long quarter length maxi coats or quarter length leather coats or maxis with an Edson on or Dobbs or something, you know. Very looked the part. And at that time, that's when Tookie used to pull up right there at Robert Thomas' house on Spring and Pack. And Tookie's, Blackie, and Limpy, and Shotgun, and some of the other people used to pull up right there and all be chilling right there. Man, maybe about 50 people out there. You know, Guy Walker be across the street at Sally's house, you know. Guy Walker and Snake both had the kind of same kind of bow-legged walk. When you saw them two, if you saw them from the distance, you wouldn't know which one it was until you got up on them. They had that both kind of look. But yeah. So he used to be at Sally's house. Guy Walker, we used to call him Pretty Crib. Was it pressure? Yeah, of course it was, bro. Of course it was. Because divided you fall, right? Of course, you know. Shout out to Michelle. Of course it was, bro. This stuff don't just simply come together like that. You know, there has to be, everything has a cause and effect component attached to it. And that's what forged everything together, you know, in order for it to survive. Because think about it. When they talk about the only Crips on Rosecrans, what did that really mean? You know, that means that everything else was Pyrus. And don't get me wrong, they was like, ugh, they was about their business, you know. They was about their business. I would say this, I would go as far as to say this. If it hadn't been from the East Side Pyrus, I don't know if the West Side could have withstand all the Crips that was in Compton at that time. I don't think they could have withstand all that because the think about it. The Ludus Park Pyru covered all that territory where you now call the Mob, you call the Lime, you call Holly, you call Am. All that was controlled by Ludus Park. All of it. I remember Frank Boyd and Claudius Johnson, them all there from Hollywood, Shamrock and Killer and Man, them all the way from Washington Street, Pyru. And then you had the Bishops over there, which was over there where Limewood is in, which was allies to them, you know. And then you had the Compton, Linwood, Bounty Hunter, Harvey Brown, and Pee Wee them. You know, all those dudes was locked up. I mean, when I say locked up, I'm talking about they was together. They be at school together. They wasn't separated, bro. So that's a lot of people to deal with, you know. And that's not easily handled that way. You got to, you know, really be about that life in order to handle those circumstances and situations. And, you know, and Bullet, man, you know, Bullet grew up with watching Tookie and Duck and Killer Wayne and all them cats right there and all the, you know, but the thing about it is that when they start going to jail, when the Killer Waynes and the Ducks and the Robert Thomas and the Killer Braves and the New Yorks and Snake and Big Roy Scott and all them and JJ Johnny Jones was, if not as big as Tookie or maybe even bigger. JJ, he had the first murder out of hood that happened in Whaley at Whaley Junior High. He had a dude in the head. And that happened like maybe 70, 71. But we wasn't Crips then, you know what I mean? But he was in YA, and when he got out YA, he definitely embraced, because like Gangsta said in the movie, when they was going to the YA back then, you did maybe 1, 2, 3 years. At the most, you might do 5. At the most. And that depends on your attitude and how well you program. But yeah, when Johnny Jones came home, man, I said, man, you talking about, man, a knockout artist. Man, that dude would get fire on a horse and knock him out. Yeah, but yeah. So it's a lot of people that don't know these guys. It's up to me to memorialize them and bring them up to the forefront so people can know, that these guys were around too. Big Blue and Professor Fanny and Barkus and A.B. Arthur Brown, A.B. Wolf, Lacey, Stevie Wonder. I see Stevie Wonder. I ain't seen Stevie Wonder in so many years. Him and Donnie Wayne. Donnie Wayne was the coldest Crip around. Donnie Wayne, I ain't never seen Donnie Wayne. I ain't never seen Donnie Wayne turn down a fight, but I ain't never seen him win one neither. Donnie Wayne fought everybody, no matter what, no matter how many times he lost, still put them dukes up, and he looked good doing it. I think what Donnie Wayne's problem was Donnie Wayne, he had that, he could mix them up. He looked like Sugar Ray Leonard and all that, and he knew all the tricks and stuff. He was like a real good boxer. But if you got in and hit him, he went down. But that didn't stop him from taking on the next guy. That's just Donnie Wayne. Stevie Wonder, we called it Stevie Wonder because he was always wandering somewhere. And then my cousin Sugar Bear stayed. Stevie Wonder was right there. Then Donald Guyton was right there. Stevie Wonder was on the corner. Then Sugar Bear was next there. Him and Drew Fly. My cousins, and then and then it was me, BJ, Bobby, Crazy Bob, right, BJ, and then Sugar Bear, Drew Fly, and Big Mac. That was my crew right there back then in the 70s, early 70s. That's just early 70s. My rest in peace to my cousin Sugar Bear, another hand god. God, man. And then there was Karate Man, Anthony Maddox. Whole family knew karate. The mama, the brothers, the whole family, man. You got into it with them, they all come out and get you. The whole family. Shout out to Cynthia Nunn. The whole family. You got into it with one of them Maddox, they mamas, they brothers, their sisters, the whole family. Everybody in the whole family knew karate. Yeah. So no, this is that day, guys, and Steve Barber, what's happening? And then Bullet was baseball coach, and was our base. Yeah, see, Bullet was definitely in the sports. And then I didn't even talk about my homeboy Big Jeff and Harold Gamble, Big Jeffrey Barber, some Mohawks. Jeff didn't gang bang, but he wasn't feeling let nobody do nothing to you neither. That's just Jeff, That's Jeff. Yeah. What year did the set start, baby? What set? The Oaks Park boys started a little after the Ludus Park Pyrus did, a little after. And they came about in 72, and they came a little after. And then the Midtown started probably about February 73, somewhere in there. Yeah, somewhere around there. Maybe a little after. And then Santana came along 76. So yeah, that's just, that's the history right there. But like I say, there's many parts. And it takes volumes. It takes volumes and volumes and volumes to tell the full story. I can only tell you so much because I wasn't in every place and seeing every situation or was part of every situation. That's just like when we got into it with the guy, Jay Clayton, when Gangster fired on him up at that skate ring. I just wasn't there that night, but Yeah, I knew the depth, and I knew the seriousness of the situation when we got into it with dude. You know, same thing with the guy Whitey from Whitey Enterprise. You know, when that situation happened. So yeah, it's just a lot of millionaires, bro. It was, man. Let me tell you something, man. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Gangster, Turtle, uh, Tyrone, Rick Carter, Dog, Bay, Will. Uh, those for certain. I believe they would. If I had to give it to anybody, I'd give it to those individuals right there I just named. And I may be missing some. I may be missing some. We used to call Tyrone Billy D. Tommy had loot too. I forgot about Tommy. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, listen, man, when I tell you that we had a lock on the having the resources and having the things that people was looking for and wanted, we had a lock on that, man. A lock. We were like one of the first neighborhoods that was able to put it together. I mean, when I first started cooking and everything, it was dudes that was afraid of where I can take them. Other words, what I'm seeing is like I met certain dudes and they were still doing stuff from shaker bottles. Man, we was buying beakers and putting a whole bird in the beaker. Wasn't playing with that, man. Ain't we finna play with this? Man, you got to put all that in there, man. If you got to worry about all that, man, you got the wrong guy. That's how I was. You didn't have the right guy. You got to go get that other guy that's willing to, do this slow method. No. Did the Kellys ever function and came to y'all hood before the situation at the park was? Man, listen, at one time, Compton was just Compton, bro. It was just Compton Crip, man. It didn't matter whether you front hood, nutty, south side, Atlantic Drive, Kelly Park, Lantana, Spooktown, Casia, Park Village. You got to know that all up and down Alondra, it was all Crips. Only thing that was there, and I forgot Track New Park or in the swamp. Only thing was there was West Park, and they were surrounded by so many Crips. It was no way they was gonna survive that. No way. At one time, the Crips was dominating, man. They was, running around saying Crips don't die, they only multiply, and all that chitty chitty bang bang and all that stuff, man. Those was mantras. People don't understand that words are powerful and they do manifest in the physical. And people just didn't understand that. But they was mouthing and saying these things, and they was actually coming to light to where they was manifesting in the physical. I've seen a cat, man. I had a homie named Maury Wooden. I seen him have a fight. He had a fight with a guy from over there, and this guy wasn't no, this guy was like a feared dude from Lucas, as far as fighting, and also he played the pistol game real well, Stanley Pitts, and yeah, they had a real good fight, and I'm finna sit up there and tell you who won or none of that. That don't even matter. But what I'm telling you, I saw two men like really go at it, and then at the end of it, like give each other, each other's props on it. You know what I mean? Because they really felt, they felt each other's man's strength. That's just how it was in the 70s. That could happen. I seen dudes, we'd be at school and they would pull out the boxing gloves over in the singing square. James Horton and Stanley and Willie McKinnon and Half Step or somebody and some other people, man, and they get out. John Wick. That's it. Man, right on. Peace and blessings to you. Any message you wish you would make that, man, listen, if I would have knew the tenth of the things I knew now back then, I'll still be, riding high. Riding high, man. But that's just, we was information poor, boy. We was information poor. There was so much money pouring through there. And the thing about it, with the money, it was so much money pouring through there. You, in your mind, you never concluded or even came into in your psyche that it would ever end, because you couldn't see it. There was no precedence. There was no precedence to what before and what was after. None. It was just something new. Cocaine was dropped in, and we all know now that it was all a lure. It was all a shiny object, and we all bit hook, line, and sinker, because it really destroyed our community, destroyed individuals in there. I mean, households, families. Black people lost homes and stuff behind it, and that really took us down. But a lot of people made a lot of money, but it was short lived. I only know a couple of people right now that's still rich from back then. But everybody else is just regular. And I'm talking about they super rich. Now, Turtle didn't get straight into it, man. Listen, guys, if you really, really want me to answer your questions, go on and send a super chat. Then that way we can do it like that, because I'm not going to sit here and answer all these questions. I'm just talking and just giving my spiel. But if you really got a super chat, it's in the chat that Professor 722. You really want to, if you really interested in what I'm saying, it's okay. Send a super chat, 2, 3, 4, 5, or $10, 20, whatever you got. It don't matter. Yes, it's Tanner Day. And again, I'm gonna say it again. Compton, keep that water. I would say again, the 722 is not particularly about one individual. It's about a group of guys that came together for the business of defending their neighborhood, their territories, their blocks and streets, alleys and parks. That's what it was. No more, no less. And the same thing, looters had the same respect. Bunch of guys that came together that defended their part, defended their areas, defended their streets and blocks and alleys and parks. That's what that was, man. But the thing about it, what complicated things, here's what complicates all this. It's the lack of communication. Just think if we would have been communicating with Marcus, and we've been communicating with Cynthia, we've been communicating with Bojangles and Bartender and Doug and Jug and Herman Jr. and Big Jeffrey and Smiley and just some of the other guys, all the guys, the Volcanoes and the Savages. Just think if we would have had an open line of communication, we could have saved ourselves a lot of trouble, because we would have saved lives and we'd have been more connected. We would have been taking that energy and putting it in the right place and directing it to where it needed to go. See, our community would not look like it looks today. It's dingy, it's dirty, it's trashy. Yards are uncut, cars parked everywhere. It wouldn't look like that today had we had invested in our communities, invested in our culture, and invested in our people. But we was information poor. We was misled. I say this all the time, that the Crips came from mercurial mindset. Mercurial means something that was unpredictable all of a sudden that became way worse. It had a mood swing to it. It was uncontrollable. It was something that just start steamrolling. And then a lot of people like, hey, man, I don't want to be a part of that. Well, I don't want to be no Crip. So that became the opposition. That became the people that objected to that type of strong arming. There was neighborhoods that were like, man, we ain't, man, no. And the Piru Boys was one of them. The Swans was another one. The Bounty Hunters was another one. The Outlaws and the some of the other ones. The Bishops, the Athens Park Boys, So yeah, one of my homies, Taboo, Big Taboo, he used to run with that other Taboo in Athens Park. Yeah, I got a homie named Taboo, which is Donald Duck and Chester's cousin, another hand guy, and then there was Don Turner and them over there from Cook and Jarvis. Then you had the Lavender Boys, Bobby and them down there out the Bishops, Space Ghost, Clotty Clay, and then you had the guys down there in the 20s, down there in the bottoms. So you had people that was, Free OG Sleep, man. We lost his brother, Ray Boy, from still in just a car radio. Him and the homie Booby, he lose his life like that. The Brims, yeah, of course the Brims. The Brims were actually before the Brims was right there simultaneously with the first resurrection of Crips. But think about this though, guys. Why did we go from black consciousness, black movement, black empowerment to being Crips and Pyrus, Brims, and bounty hunters and all this other stuff? Why? Do you think that just happened just like that? I think not. I think there's no coincidence. I think that those things kept us busy for the next 55 years, and we still busy at it right to this day. It looks like very different from the 70s, but still the same thing. Each weekend, the black morgues are filled with black people put there by other black people, bastards of the party. Simple as that. Go into any mortuary. Most of the people there is black, and most of the people that put them there is black. The white man ain't killing us. The Mexicans ain't killing us. We killing us more than anything. And I just want black people to stop. Can black people just stop killing black people? And that's the purpose of these videos. And I mean, when you get down to the real brass tacks of it, that's the purpose. Ninja Ben was from Israel, bro. Ninja Ben was an Israeli. He fought in the Israeli military. He brought secrets to the hood from, being part of that, He worked with explosives and all kind of stuff. So, yeah, Ninja Ben was different, bro. He was a different dude. Different. So, that with power and money and resources, that again escalate and elevate things. Yeah, that was a lot of gains to evolve in a short time thing, man, because I'm telling you, man, the Crips was just snowballing and rolling over stuff, man. It was like what was the movie called, The 300? I forgot what the opposition of the 300. They was just rolling over stuff, taking it over, annihilated, And then they got that resistance. Oh, I forgot the Denver Lanes. They were there too. They stood their ground, Can't take from them people, man. You can't take from the Brims, the Denver Lanes, the Outlaws, the Pyrus, the Swans, the Brims. The Bounty Hunters, the Bishops. You can't take from them because they had their own way of thinking, their own ideologies, and they figured that they didn't want to be part of something that, that's the thing about it, man. Just because, trees don't mingle with grass. Just because they both originated from the ground don't mean they be together. Right? The trees, I'm going to say it again, the trees don't mingle with grass. I just broke it down, but I'll tell you again. The 722, right? If you go to your dial tone on your phone, right? If you go to PQRS, the S represent the 7. If you go to the top of the dial tone and go to the dial, it's go ABC. So the C is represent the 2-2. That's the breakdown of 722. Gertrude Montana bought that about when they're doing the pager era. That's how the 722. We used to praise each other because we looked at the dial and said we hit each other 722. That was our, our code during the pager era. Back when some dudes was hitting the girls with the 304. That's where 304 come from, really. Because you put a 304 in it and turn upside down and spell hoe on the pager. Yeah. I don't have no issues, bro. I don't have no issues. I respond and I just, I see things and I might speak upon something. And some people don't know how to take just the type of maybe criticism I might get or how I might interpret things, and they may not. And most of the people you see on the internet are very belligerent, loud, obnoxious, and they talk and they use a lot of profanity. I don't know if you notice or not. You never hear me curse on the internet, bro. Because I'm well aware of who I am, I'm conscious of who I am, and I'm a knowledgeable person. I read and write. I don't fight and shoot. Because fighting and shooting has led most of the people I know either put them in the graveyard or the penitentiary. But the people who read and write, they will read you your rights, and they also will write the briefs in the law, to which will put you away for so many years. So understand that. Understand the dynamics of what you're asking and why you're asking. Don't just think it's something is that's something, because I know some of our people, that's all they know how to do because they might have grew up in a particular way. And why they particular way, they used to be in, they hurt people, or they in survival. I had two parent household. Mom and pops, they took really good care of us. And we were real well-rounded children. So everybody don't have that though. And I get that, and they might have grew up in a certain particular way and they couldn't, so they grow up like not really grasping or understanding that if they just educate themselves a little bit more, or they understand and follow certain rules, you'll be able to get past a lot of stuff versus if you just decide to break the law and do wrong. Because why do we born into this world knowing nothing, right? But why does a certain aspect, a certain element of our culture go to the wrong all the time? Why? That's not, because here's the thing, man. A lot of what we believe is culture conditioning. It's a psycho-philosophical vehicle of spiritual and intellectual enslavement, and part of the education system and part of the religious system. It was lead you and push you in those directions because you think you're following something spiritually, or you're following something that is going to give you enlightenment, but at the same time, it's binding you. That's what religion means. It means to bind. It means to hold. And if you get into, when you go break all this stuff down and you go to get the etymology and you start looking at words and finding out a lot of these words that you say have 2 or 3 different meanings. But when you get to the root word of it, you realize, oh man, this didn't mean this at all. It means this, It is a nihilistic type of understanding. It's demon time for real. And people get caught up in that because nobody really believe in God. They just scared of going to hell and dying. That's being 100. Because if they really believe in God, then they'll stop doing all the things, all the workers of iniquity and all the workers of right or wrongdoing. They'll stop doing what they're doing. But it's almost like walking through a cafeteria line and you pick and choose what you like and leave the rest. That's what happens in religion. A lot of people pick and choose what they like and leave the rest. You can't do that. That's why I like having all the parts. I don't work with 1 part, 2 part. I want all the parts. That's why I study, research, write, read, and figure out the science and break down stuff. That's why I do it. I don't know what would anybody else do. I can't speak for no. I can only speak for me. Yep, sure did. SAG, Mark, Ears, and all them, and H and Hub them, they start pushing all that. Yeah, yeah. Ask SAG, he'll tell you. And shout out to my homie Kizzy. I didn't mention it. Kizzy was a fighter, man, real fighter, you know. But good homie, just a good homie, you know. Very humble now, very humble, well read, studied, you know. Stick to the statements of facts. You know, you can see him. He's a very studied individual. Awkward beginning. Salute, Melly. Square miles. Okay, but anyway, guys, I've been in here an hour. I don't talk enough. You know, you guys don't want to super chat me, so why should I be here any longer, right? Marlena? Marlena, you get it? Why should I be here any longer, right? Let me see what Marlena had. I'm good. I'm doing good, man. Well, anyway, shout out to Awkward Beginning. Shout out to good brother, Judicus, Marlena Williams, Postmaster General, Charles Jones, Joshua. And then today, guys, if I said anything that you mistook or misunderstood or felt that it was directed or indirected or whatever, however you felt, know this. Blame it on the mind and not the heart. Blame it on the mind and not the heart. Because my heart, I purify my heart and I purify my mind. But sometimes the mind doesn't work in concert with the heart, but the heart is always pure. So, but I increase myself in intellect, wisdom, and understanding. And then as I go about through my day, I wish nothing but the best for you. I want for my brothers what I want for myself. I want for my sister what I want for myself. And if I offended anybody, I apologize. But with that being said, I am Professor Melly Mel, and I am the Hood Postman. Don't mind me just watching, but go ahead and lock that door.
Cali Finest, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga. Streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the feds get me. It's guap off top. Diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a pro fish the time of day. They see me climbing. They see me shining. That's hard work. Proof of grinding. New money got me tipping in that 550. Ali, bad man, and I'm so pretty. I got that tech with me. That's my hater sprayer. Go big, grind now, nigga, play later. What can I say? I'm addicted to this paper stacking. And I don't talk about it. I just make it happen. Word on the block is that my shit go. Reach for the low.
Lock the door. We are gone.